Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details. I have my friend Amber here.
Hi.
We are working on a Ford Fusion for my customer, and we are working on the exterior today. We're going to be practicing some different polishes, pads, polishers, just to kind of get a little bit of training for Amber. She came over to try to learn some techniques. And before we do any sort of polishing work on this, we washed it last night just very quickly, but we need to decontaminate it. I don't want to spend all day decontaminating it. I hate, honestly, kneading clay bars. Amber and I were actually just talking about it. We're getting older, and we don't want to have to deal with arthritis, pain in our hands of kneading clay bars, especially in the wintertime when they can be really hard and just a pain in the butt. There are some times that I struggle, honestly. So that's where I started to explore ways to decontaminate or clay bar a vehicle faster. So let me share with you guys my favorite way to decontaminate a vehicle faster. So let's turn around and take a look at what we're talking about. So for any of you guys that are looking for a way to effectively wash and decontaminate your vehicle all at once, many times when we do a clay bar treatment, sometimes the tried and true standard method is that you wash it, you dry it, you get out your clay lubricant. Sometimes you might buy those kits from Walmart. You'll get your clay lubricant, your clay bar. You'll spray your clay lube. You'll do your clay bar treatment, dry it off. And that's normally how typically enthusiast weekend warriors, they're just instructions on the back of the box, they tell you to do it. There are ways to kind of increase in time. You can use a clay bar. You can use your wash soap and kind of wash the vehicle and clay bar it at the same time. But again, you're still having to knead that clay bar. It takes time, especially if you have a heavily contaminated hood and you have to frequently be refreshing that clay bar. Sometimes a clay bar method can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, let alone just the nuisance of storing the clay bar, making sure you don't get anything in the bar. And then it may be only good for about 3 or 4 vehicles, especially if you have like a heavily contaminated vehicle with tar, artillery fungus, things like that. So there's different methods, and I've done videos on them in the past. You can use your clay pads, you can use your DA clay pads, and those are really fantastic for aggressive overspray, or if you just want to kind of blast through it to polish it. But those can be very abrasive. And clay bars are nice in the fact that they are the least abrasive, but again, you have the inconvenience of the pain. And then you have your clay pads, your clay sponges and things like that, but they can mar the paint heavily. So if you're not planning on polishing a vehicle, what do? This is a great option. We've got a black vehicle here. You can kind of see the condition of the paint. We've got some heavy swirls and scratches. I'm not worried so much about marring the paint, but I have used this process, this technique, on vehicles that require no polishing afterwards and there's no marring. One of the reasons, and this is the Rag Company clay towel. That used to be the Optimum clay towel, but you'll notice kind of these open honeycomb cells. And what's great about this is it actually diminishes the risk of marring because you don't have such a tight space. It actually allows some of the contaminants to kind of go into those grooves until you can kind of wash it off with your soap. So what we're doing here is, this is one of my favorite soaps to do kind of a clay wash. We have Nanoskin Bubble Bath. It's a very lubricating soap, high sudsing. It's just really fantastic. I just have a little bit of water here. I put maybe about 2-3 ounces of soap in here, and you just kind of get your clay sponge, let that soak. We're going to go ahead and do a quick rinse of the vehicle. So what we're going to do is, I'm actually going to put this into time lapse, but we're going to note the time on the clock. So Amber, if you don't mind, so we are 5 after 10. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into time lapse. That way you're not bored with having to watch it. What you essentially want to do with this is wash. You don't have to press down hard. We'll do one panel in real time so you can just kind of see the feel for it. We'll do the rest of the vehicle in time lapse. That way you can understand what to look for, what to listen for when you're doing it. So we've done our hood here. We've got it wet. You don't want to do it on a dry surface. You just kind of want to kind of scoop up a lot of those suds and just come on here. Very light pressure. Let the pad do the work. You don't have to push down. Just go over the panel. Now you hear kind of that grit. And as we go, that grit kind of diminishes, but you can also feel a difference. you'll feel a little bit of resistance as you go over it. You can hear that grit as we go over it. It's getting less and less. So you also want to just take your hand and kind of run it over the surface. If you still feel some grit, just do some more light passes. A lot of people will say do baggy test. I just kind of take my hand, run it over. That's a really great way. And you can see this gives us more than enough soap. Again, very little pressure, only enough to just kind of put your hand and move it across the top of the panel. How's that feel to you, Amber?
Oh, wow.
Feel
what
good?
a difference, yeah.
Okay, and I mean, this was like sandpaper when we washed it yesterday. So we'll just go ahead, rinse this. Another reason I like this soap, it doesn't really have any sort of waxes or anything like that. It's just a nice lubricating soap. It rinses really free. We'll get all this soap off here. We'll just kind of do one last test. And that feels nice and smooth. No bumps, nothing. So that's a quick way to just kind of do that entire panel safely. What we're going to do... All right, so we are done. You can see it is about 10:18. That took us 8 minutes to clay an entire vehicle and decontaminate. And the paint is nice and smooth. We got all of that built up decontamination, especially the lower panels. This trunk sounded like sandpaper. We did a quick decon. Now we can move to our drying and polishing step a lot faster, being more profitable. Or maybe you're an enthusiast. This is just a quick, easy way to go ahead and decontaminate a vehicle, especially if you're prepping. You don't have to worry about marring, but if you're not going to be doing any sort of polishing, this is a fantastic way to decontaminate faster and decrease the risk of marring when you have kind of that open cell technology. Another tip I was sharing with Amber, for any of you who are prepping for coating, if you use a product like OP or Owner's Pride Decon X, this actually, you can spray it on the panel and use the clay towel, use this as your lubricant, and you can do a chemical decontamination and a manual decontamination all at once. So just another tip to try to help you be a little bit more effective, move faster and get on with your day and your life and enjoy your beautiful vehicle. So, you have any questions, Amber?
Nope, that was the easiest clay process ever.
Yeah, she's like, honey, we need to buy one. So Jason, if you're watching, I'm sorry about all the stuff you're gonna have to be buying. But anyways, we're just having fun over here. We're gonna get this dried off and we're moving on to our next step. But I hope this helps some of you guys out. I'm gonna put the link for the Rag Company clay towel down below for any of you that are interested. I was telling Amber, I've had one of these. I just opened this one up. I've had one of these for about 6 months and it was performing fantastically for my customers. You can see we've got a little bit of tar built up on there. We're just going to maintain that with some APC and a brush and just kind of gently agitate that. It's a great way to maintain the clay towel, giving you longevity. They're not the cheapest, but for the fact that I can use this dozens upon dozens time, get fantastic results, easily maintain vehicles, less risk of marring. It actually is more profitable for me because less labor and overall costs, it actually is more profitable. I'll put the link for the NanoSkin bubble bath down below as well. For any of you that want to do a chemical decontamination, I'll put the Owner's Pride Decon X there. Just if that's something that you want to check out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.